Well, it's great to see everybody. I know this is probably the busiest season of the year outside of the holidays. Everybody has stuff going on and millions of moving parts between vacays and travels and squeezing everything in. All of a sudden, the summer just like goes by. And then here we are, like, we're like, oh my gosh, it's almost time for back to school. So a couple quick announcements slash reminders is first off, Fitme event is like 6 weeks away. So our in-person Fitme event is 6 weeks away. And so if you haven't signed up yet, it is not too late. I shared the link in the Facebook group today, but we want to have as many of us together there in person as possible. And so talk to us if you need help figuring out details. We can help, but Fitme event is like right around the corner and it's going to be better than ever. So hopefully we get to see most of us there together in person. And then I think that's it for announcements. I'm just going to keep talking about Fitme event until we get there. And so tonight I'm calling an audible. So we were going to talk about workouts tonight. That's what's on the schedule is fitting in workouts. We did talk about that a couple of weeks ago, and this was going to be like a slightly different version of that topic, but I thought it might be helpful to talk about meal prep because we've been talking about it a lot in the challenge, and I built a meal prep guide for the challenge, and I wanted to share it with you, us as our Fitme family, so that you guys make sure you have this strategy and can use this resource too, whether or not you're playing along with the challenge or not. And so I thought I would teach it to you guys and kind of go over it. And if you're catching the replay of this, I'm going to actually, so if you're listening, I'm actually going to share my screen. I don't often do that on our Sunday calls, but I thought I would go through this guide. And then if you want a copy of it, then we will get it to you. We can just make it available and you can download it. But meal prep is something, we're going to do a lot of things with meal prep at the Fitme event. Practicing putting together different plate combos, building healthy meals, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, this is one of those things that you have to kind of decide you're going to figure it out in your family. There is no hack or strategy for meal prep that works for everybody. And that's one of the first takeaways you have to hear about meal prep is ultimately you've got to figure out your own thing for meal prep to work. And so what I'm going to show you guys is this meal prep resource guide. And I want to talk you through the steps for meal prep because it's simpler than you think. But just even one of these applied in your life might make things quite different for you. If you are busy, if you are trying to eat with intention, healthy choices, and if you have people in your life like moving parts, then this resource / coaching call is for you. So this is the meal prep strategy broken down into 6 simple steps. First things first is what's happening this week. Do you have works events? Do you have obligations? Do you have kid activities? Do you have family events, church commitments? What's going on in your week? That's the very first thing you want to write out. So at my house, right behind me, there's this giant blackboard kind of thing that's on the wall. That's where I write that out. We've got jujitsu, we've got football, we've got whatever. I write that out on the calendar. The second thing to think about is what meal is your linchpin? What's the one that matters the most for your week? I know we could plan out every meal of the week, but if you're not doing hardly any meal prep, then this is where you actually need to start, is just picking the most important one for you to be successful. Is that lunch? Is that dinner? Is it breakfast? Which one will it be the most helpful for you to plan out in advance? For some people, it's going to be dinner. It's going to be the one that, if we have dinner squared away, then that turns into my lunch for the next day. Family's happy. We're not eating out. We're like not ordering pizza. We've got our dinners planned. Other people, it needs to be lunch. It's like, I have to work. Everything's crazy. If I don't eat a good lunch, then everything falls apart. Other people, it's breakfast. So you've got to pick which one's for you. But that's where I want you to start. What's happening this week? And then I want you to plan out the meals that are your linchpins. So you're actually going to write out what they are, not think about it. Actually write it out. So Monday, we're having fish and broccoli and rice. Tuesday, we're having this. Wednesday, we're having, carnitas. Thursday, we're having whatever. Friday, we're having soup, and you write it all out. There's your meals, your plan for the week. Next thing that happens is you need a grocery list. So make your grocery list so that you can buy everything that you need for those meals, plus everything that you need for your breakfast and lunches. You're going to order your groceries or go buy them, go pick them up. And I know that sounds silly and obvious, but it's not, because it's easy on the weekends for this to not happen. So you need to order your groceries. And then last is get organized and prepped. So that's going to be different for everybody. So organized and prepped for me means like getting my lunches squared away and having the other ones written out. But I don't have to prep my dinners. I just know what they are, so I can make sure the stuff is out and it's thawed and it's ready to go. For you, it could be that you actually prep your food. It's going to be different for everybody. But this simple system, and it is simple by design, is something you can repeat every single week. However, most important tip, and what I want you guys to think about in your meal prep strategies, is when does this need to happen? So for example, if you're just now planning right now at, 5 o'clock at night or at 8 o'clock at night or 7, whatever time it is where you live, it might be too late for you to be organized for the week if you just started on step one. So step one, what's happening this week might need to happen on Friday. For us, that's kind of the best day. If that happens on Friday, then I can plan out the meals on Saturday, get my groceries ordered to be here on Sunday morning, and then I can actually prep a little bit on Sunday afternoon. So you have to back this strategy up for it to work for you. And again, just depends on you and your life. And then at the end of the day, you want to put the most important pieces of this strategy in your calendar and prioritize it. So just like workouts, when we talk about, hey, you got to actually prioritize your workouts by putting them in your calendar. If you don't do that with your meal prep, you might not meal prep. And if you're a meal prep rock star and you're already crushing it, then you don't need to adjust your strategy. It's working for you. But if you're not, if you find yourself always sort of behind the 8 ball, always playing catch up, always having to order takeout, always having to be like, what am I going to eat tonight? Always feeling like, man, how do I make a Fitme plate? Then the part that's missing in your week is your planning. It's your meal prep routine. And you can't bypass this. You can't tell me that food and nutrition is a priority for you and skip planning. It just, those are not compatible. If workouts are a priority and planning, then you need a plan for them, which is why in our program, you get a plan for your workouts. So you actually know what to do. So without the plan, it's not really a priority because you have nothing to follow through on. So this guide here just has a little reminder of those 6 steps. But then I actually put together a couple pages for you guys to use. So if you don't have a blackboard or something like that in your house and you are somebody who likes to do the paper version, you can actually write out your meal plan for the week and your events and activities. You can make your grocery list on here. You can put your favorite meals. So maybe you're trying different things. So sometimes you're getting started and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. So then it's okay to try it and see, did your family like it? Did you have leftovers? Did you buy too much? And then start to make note of your favorite things. And then last but not least is what I really, really love is inspiration and ideas. Everybody posts Fitme plates. Like a lot of people still post their plates. And if you're not certain on what to eat, then maybe keeping a little journal of inspiration ideas would help you so that next week when you're doing your meal prep and planning, you can just look at your inspiration and ideas. I always run out of ideas. And so I always have to go look at other people's to kind of like get a inspiration of like, oh, that would be good to cook. I can do that. Especially when it comes to like the sides and things like that. Like I really love seeing everybody's like summer salads. People are putting together some great stuff with like tomatoes and cucumbers and like all the good stuff. And I'm like, oh, I could do that. That's not too bad. But I would never do it unless I look at it and make a note about it. And last but not least, if you're tracking your Fitme plates, which I highly encourage you guys to do. So, as a part of the challenge, everyone's trying to get to 100 Fitme plates. But as a Fitme client, we teach you Fitme plates, but you don't necessarily have like a destination or target. But if you have not reached 100 Fitme plates yet, then you are missing part of what you should be doing. Because part of what you should be doing should be practicing this strategy for building healthy and balanced meals. And so even though it's one of our like very first things that people kind of find when they find Fitme, they're like, oh, the Fitme plate challenge and this guide. it would be silly for us to overlook this as a core part of what you're doing. So if you have not hit 100 Fit Me plates as a Fit Me client, I want to personally challenge you right now to make that your mission. I would like to see you hit 100 Fit Me plates and start to track them. And so think about that. And again, talk to your coach. Maybe 1 a day is reasonable right now. Maybe 2 a day is reasonable. But especially if your progress is feeling slow, then you need to make this a priority. Meal prep and planning and shooting for Fit Me plates. Now, obviously, you guys have metabolism reviews that give you more insight into like what you should be prioritizing, whether it's protein or whether it's getting extra snacks or whether it's recovery, and all that stuff really matters. But the basics are here. This is that basic template that you need. So in this guide too, there's some great stuff from some of the Fit Me coaches, just little tips, things that might be helpful. And so you guys obviously can have this guide. And I wanted to bring this strategy up because I know that this season in particular, summer, is hectic. And we're like, oh, once life gets more like predictable this fall, it's going to get easier. Nope. Life gets hectic in the fall, just like it is now. Then guess what happens after that? Life gets hectic in the holidays. And then guess what happens after that? It never ends. So you have to figure out how this meal prep strategy works for you right now in this season. And then you might need to adjust it again in the fall. And then you might need to adjust it again in the holiday season, but the basics stay the same. 1, consider what's happening this week. 2, what meal is the one that you need to plan? 3, plan out those meals. 4, make your grocery list. 5, order it. And 6, prep. That's it. It's that simple. And then back that whole situation up so that it happens early enough in the weekend or whenever you do it that you can actually be ready for your week. And then use inspiration, use simple Fit Me plate strategies as a compelling way to build momentum and progress. It never gets old. Chrissy Campbell still posts Fit Me plates. Why do I do it? Do you think I'm just doing it for you guys? Hell no. I'm doing it for me too, for both of us, for all of us. But ultimately, like, it keeps me on task to post Fit Me plates. And so I challenge you guys to do it too. So I will share that guide with you guys. If you are listening to the replay and you need a copy of it, be sure to ask your coach. I will make sure that everybody has it to share. It's a PDF. And then let's talk a little bit about meal prep. I would love to hear from you guys, either questions about this strategy, things that work really well for you. Maybe if you're like, this is something I needed to hear, then share that. I'm sure you're not the only one. So what do you guys think? Everybody's stunned into silence. Virginia at least was nodding. She was
yeah, like, I'll speak up. So this was something I needed to hear, and I'm looking forward to getting a copy of the PDF because I struggle with meal prep. I struggle with my weekends feel very chaotic. And so I find I just have a really hard time finding the time to meal prep. And I know that that is an excuse and I need to just prioritize it. But I really tried this weekend. I had it on my schedule and then everything just went to shit and I didn't get there. So I think I'm looking for, I like the idea of having the list of inspirational foods. I love that idea because I very often am like, what am I going to cook? I've run out of ideas. What am I going to do? And then definitely getting back to tracking the Fit Me plates. I'm not in the challenge because it started right before I went to Australia. So it just was too much for me to join it. But yeah, definitely really great resources and just a great back to basics.
Well, you can jump in at any time. So the challenge stays open. Yep.
How do I do that?
You can just go here. I'll put the thing up.
Okay.
So when you go to fitmestart.com, and if you guys are listening to this on the replay, go to fitmestart.com. And then when you go to fill out the form to sign up, it's going to ask you to pay, but you guys don't have to pay because it's complimentary for Fit Me clients. So put in the code THRIVE and it'll turn it to 0. It's not complimentary for not Fitme clients. So if you have a friend who wants to join the challenge, you can send them this link and then they'll just sign up and pay. But you guys as clients joining the challenge is totally complimentary. So yeah, jump in, Virginia. And then I put the meal prep resources in the chat box right now. So you guys are live. You can download that PDF right now. But don't worry, Virginia. I'm glad you shared that. You are definitely not the only one. And I have been there many times where I have like really good intentions. I even thinking about it and it's still not happening. And this is honestly the only strategy that works for me to do it consistently. And I think sometimes, and I did a meal prep workshop on this a couple weeks ago, sometimes we get really hung up on like the hacks, like, ooh, what kind of seasoning could I use? Or like, ooh, like what can I do here and there? But like that stuff comes after. You actually have to have the system in place and the routine, and then it matters. Like, oh, this is a new way to season chicken, or this is like a better way to, do that, to cook this thing. But that's like secondary. What else, guys?
I think we've hit on this a few times, but it looks different in different seasons. So I'm just now entering my second trimester of pregnancy, and the first trimester was rough. And like raw vegetables were the only vegetables I could do. And so normally on a Sunday, I'll prep all these roasted veggies and roasted potatoes. And I like had to like stop and shift. And I like had to really think about like, okay, what am I going to do? Oh my gosh, it's so different. And it's been mostly us kind of looking on like a Thursday or a Friday and saying, well, these are some options. I'm not going to prep all the meat like in advance because I might get to Tuesday and chicken might taste disgusting. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to have like 5 different options and then go from there. And so I think each season can look so different too. And I was thinking about that for you, Virginia, with the thing you have to do right now. Why can't I think of the word? Help me out.
You're muted, Virginia.
I can't even.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I couldn't unmute myself. The AIP.
There it is. Thank you. I was like, why can't I think of words right now? Yes. Yeah. So I was thinking about that because it's a totally different season for you. And I was like, it took me like almost like 10 weeks to be like, okay, you don't keep forcing yourself to eat these things that you think you should eat. Like eggs, I could not eat eggs this whole first trimester. And I kept trying to force myself and then getting nauseous. And I saw you post that about like changing your mindset around food and breakfast food and stuff. So yeah, it changes.
I love that you said that. Yeah, it's so important to adjust based off of your real life. It does not one size fits all for everybody, but it doesn't even one size fits all for your life. You have to adjust. But there is no escaping doing some version of planning. And so the honest truth is, if you are not doing any planning at all, and your food is still a hard part for you, nutrition, then that is the problem, is the lack of planning and not the, anything else you're going to list, because everything else comes after that. So once you've prioritized planning, well, then you're like, oh crap, I have no idea what to cook. Well, then now you can problem solve for that. Now it's like, well, I only came up with 2 meals and I need 5 meals. And like, I want them to look like Fitme plates. So now what? So now you're actually problem solving inside of the planning, but that won't happen unless you do the planning part. Or maybe you actually buy a whole bunch of stuff, you do all the planning and you realize, crap, like I bought all this food and a bunch of it went bad. Well, guess what? Now you can utilize your Fitme coaches to help you figure out how to make it so that that doesn't happen. Because we've got some food prep ninjas who can help you figure that out. But none of that's even going to pop into your head unless you're doing it. You're never going to learn from just thinking about doing it. You actually have to do it to learn what you need to learn. It's so funny. That is one of the very first things that people always say when they join Fitme is like, well, where's my meal plan? Where's my list? And I'm like, no, we're going to do Fitme plates and we're going to make this work in your real life. We're going to create food boundaries and we're going to eat a lot better than you're eating right now. And they're like, well, just tell me what it is. I'm like, no, we're going to do it. And we're going to figure out what you need to work on. And that is the most painful wake up call is, oh, I'm going to have to do the work. And so meal prep and again, it gets easier and easier. The thing is about meal prep is if you've ever had anything that you've ever had to prep and plan in your life. So maybe you used to have to go from point A at your house to point Z across town. And the first time you went there, you had to like look at your phone in advance, write down the address, think about all the steps, make sure X, Y, and Z. You had to follow every single direction on your phone in order to make there. But the more that you did it, the less you needed to do that. You didn't have to think so hard. And after you've been all the way across town, like 15 times, you just don't have to think as hard about it. But you're still following the directions, right? You're still following the plan. It's just not mentally as hard. And that's kind of what meal prep and planning is. At first, it takes a lot of mental effort. You really have to think it through. You might have to ask for help. You might have to it takes longer, but the more you do it, the less effort it takes. You still have to do it, but it's just not as mentally tough. And so give yourself the grace to have it be hard in the beginning and not give yourself a hard time and think that you can't do it or that it's too hard or that it's just not for you because your life's too busy. Nope. You have to give yourself grace to learn and to start to get better at it and to start to have it be a thing that is in your life. And your family will get on board too. If you feel resistance from them, then get them on board. They'll get there eventually. Sweet.
Well, let me say, can I just say one thing? The food prep, I think the word food prep for some reason sends me in a downward spiral. So when I look at what I do, it's considered food prep, but I can't say that I'm food prepping.
Can we call it something else? To me,
feels like I'm spending an entire day on my feet over a stove doing something I don't want to do. But in actuality, I cook 3 proteins in a day, some carbs, and some veggies. So I'm probably that's food prepping, but I won't say this is the meal. You know what I mean? So you got some chicken, you got some burgers, and you got some pork chops. You got some cabbage and you got some spinach. I got you some potatoes and some corn. There you go. Make it work.
That's so true. What should we call it, Natika? What should we call it?
I don't cooking. I don't really know. I just know that when I think about writing it down and calling it food prep, it just turns me off. Those are the weeks when I say I'm a food prep. Those are the weeks that I'm guaranteed not to cook enough food to get me through the week and we have to eat something. But if I'm not thinking that I'm food prepping, I will cook multiple things in one day, not feel burdened by it, and we have plenty of food. It's a mental thing.
I think it just depends on the person. I think if planning and writing it down is helpful and that you can do it that way, then do it. If you want to call it, food party, and you're basically going through the same steps, you can call it whatever you want to call it.
Get with that food party.
Food party. We're having a food party at my house on Sunday, and everybody be like, "Oh yeah, I'm here," and I'm like, "Oh, we're cooking hard-boiled eggs at my food party."
Yeah, just roasting some potatoes.
Roasted potatoes, guys. Have a food party. But I think that's a good point. Sometimes mentally you have to play little tricks with yourself. And if you get yourself all worked up, you're going to be slaving over the kitchen and making your Sunday no fun, then you're not going to do it. And that's not even reality necessarily to be successful. Great point. Sweet, guys. Well, I put that PDF in the chat box. So download it real quick. Coaches, if you're listening to this, I'm going to put it in Slack right now. And so you guys have it to give to your clients this week as you guys are talking about meal prep. So everybody's topic for the week is to discuss meal prep, what season you're in, what routine you're currently using, and is it working for you? And use this basic guide as a template for you to adjust and modify in your life. This is not religion. This is just a template. This is just a way that you can take what works for you and what doesn't, and build on it. And so if you have questions, ask, and remember, you're going to learn by doing. So start with the doing and then have your coach help you fill in the blanks. And if you are not in the challenge and you want to jump in, it is fitmestart.com, and then put in the code THRIVE. And that's just for Fitme clients to be able to have the full discount, to have it be completely complimentary. If you want a friend to join the challenge or some people that you know, you can send them that same exact link. Just don't give them the code. Because that is your special code. Kristen, it's at the very top of the chat box. Can anybody else not see it? The PDF, can you guys see it?
Yeah, so
I don't see it either.
I don't see it. I was just about to text Molly. I think it's gone or something.
Let me try one more time. Virginia, you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. I was able to download it.
Let me try one more time. I'm going to put it in. It might be because you guys are on your phone. It might be like some.
I see it.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. But it's all the way at the top.
Yeah, all the way up at the very, very top of the chat box. So scroll up.
Molly's like, nope. Molly's like, nope, I did not see it.
No, the first thing in the chat box is the Fitme start doc.
Oh, weird.
It's weird that some people have it and then other people do not.
Did your phone kick you off, Molly?
Oh,
Nope.
Oh, weird.
It's not on mine either.
okay. I'm putting it one more time.
Well, that's just because you guys already have it under control. That's why.
Okay, it's going to show up in the chat box again. So it's in there now.
Yeah, that's gonna have to go out
I
via
think it's
email
'cause
or
you-
something.
Yeah, I think it's maybe because you guys are on your phone. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
So what I'll do is, let me think where I can put it. I think I should be able to send it out on Trainerize. So let me try to do that. I'll send it to you guys through the app, through the Fitme app.
Thanks, Kristen.
And if you have questions and you don't see it in there, just let me know, but I'm going to send it out right now. Cool. All right, guys, have a fantastic week. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.